Hi. Today I'd like to just kind of go through the process of figuring out if I want to get a different car or if I want to stay with the car I've got. In a couple of videos ago, when Doobie was very sick, I was talking about a bucket list, and I was saying that the only two things I had on the bucket list, which I hadn't thought about, was one was taking a Miata up into the mountains and camping. Miata is a little tiny two-seater convertible, and going to Patagonia, which is on the southern tip of South America. Now, bucket lists are kind of weird. I mean, I just think that maybe bucket lists aren't even worth talking about. Maybe they are, I'm not sure. But it got me thinking. I was like, should I stay with the car I've got, which is a Forester, or should I think about a Miata or something else? And so when I'm faced with decisions like this that have many different pluses and negatives, I find it easier to make a chart. So we're going to try to do that. So I think you can see I'm sitting at the piano because it's got this nice board here, and I can write. We're going to turn it this way. I think you'll be able to see it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to try to write it big so you can see too. We're going to have 4 columns. Actually, we're going to have to make the left column a little bit wider because it's going to have more words in it. So I'm going to say we're going to make here. I'm going to divide this equally. Okay, so this is what I got. Forester, Subaru Forester. Miata is an MX-5. It's a 2-seater convertible. And then there's one other vehicle that I think is really cool, but I don't have much knowledge about it. But it's a possibility. I'm going to say Jeep for its off-roading capability. And then we're gonna list several different things. We're gonna count up which one has the most pluses. Here's a chart. Forester, Miata, Jeep. We're going to list a bunch of stuff here. All right, let's start with what should we start with? We should start with, well, what do I want to do with it? I mean, we should probably start with money first, because money is a factor. So we're going to just say money. I guess I could have made these lines a little skinnier. But I already own the Forester, so I don't have to pay any money on the Forester because I have it, except for maintenance and repairs. Now, the Forester is an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle. It's a car, off-road car. I would say like dirt road car, but it's a car. So the suspension gets wrecked pretty easily. I've I've messed up the axle, I've messed up wheel bearings, I've messed up the control arm. And those cost money. I think suspension only, I've spent probably like $4,000 on repairs. So Forester, that's in the last 3 years on just the suspension repairs. But the engine's good. So I would say Forester, money-wise, is pretty cheap. I give it a plus plus. I guess this category needs to be broken up into cost. So purchasing, and then reliability and repairs. So let's say reliability and repairs. So for the Forester, it's a plus plus because I own it already, so I don't have to pay any money for that. Reliability and repairs, well, I'd say that it's a 1 minus because I like to go out in the mountains, and that suspension is going to break again at some point because the mountains have rough roads. I don't even take it on the roughest roads. I just dirt roads with potholes and stuff and ruts. Miata. Getting a new vehicle is a lot of money. So say a negative, and then the Jeep is a negative because it's very expensive. Now reliability, I should say reliability and repairs. I'd say Forester is very reliable, but it needs repairs because of riding on the mountains. So that's a plus minus. So it kind of cancels itself out. A Miata is both very reliable, but if I take it out onto mountain roads, it's probably going to need suspension repairs. But it's such a tiny car that I can probably do the repairs. I can learn how to do the repairs at home. And the parts probably don't cost very much because it's a tiny car. So I'm just going to leave that as a plus. Jeep. I heard it's not that reliable in terms of the engine and the quality of the parts from Stellantis. That's just what I read online. And if an engine breaks, well, that's going to cost a lot of money. So that's a minus minus. Let's say, now we're going to get into what I would do it for. So off-road. Forester, I'd say it's a plus because I can get to almost all the places I want to go, except for very rough roads. I can't take it on them. And I can't take it off-road because it'll just totally wreck the suspension. Miata, well, it doesn't have much ground clearance and it's two-wheel drive. It's rear wheel drive only. So going in the snow, not a good idea. Going on sand and the beach, definitely not a good idea. Rough roads, for sure not. So I would say that's even a minus minus. I think I would have to pretty much just stay on the roads. But I like going out in the mountains. Jeep, well, that's a plus plus. I mean, you can go pretty much anywhere. You can go anywhere almost with the Jeep. It's got four-wheel drive, big tires, and locking differentials so that you can get over any obstacle. You can climb up rocks, you can go in a stream, you could go on the beach, you could go through snow. That's a plus plus. Let's say camping. Well, with the Forester, I can bring a bunch of stuff because it's got 4 seats and I can fold down the back, and I got a trunk, and it can get me almost everywhere I want to go. And I could sleep in the car. Oh no, we'll make that a separate category. Camping, Forester, plus. I can get to almost everywhere. Miata, I can't take that much stuff, but I could still camp. Well, I would say Forester is a plus plus. Yeah, I mean, Miata, I can camp, but I can't bring much stuff. And I can't get to everywhere I would want to go because the roads might be too rough. Or it might be snowy or something. So I'd only give that a plus, because it sure as heck would be fun to drive a Miata camping. Jeep, well, I can go anywhere with that, so plus plus. Car. Sleeping in car. Sleeping in car. Forester. You can sleep in it, but it's not quite long enough in the back. You kind of have to jerry-rig the gap between where the seats in the rear fold down and then the back of the front seat. There's this gap where the footwell is for the rear passenger. Now, I found a way to do that, but also the back doesn't fold flat. It's got this weird hump in it, and so it's like an incline. Not the most comfortable sleeping. Miata, I cannot sleep in that. That's a minus. I mean, you could sleep in it, but I'd be sleeping upright in the seat. Jeep. If I got a 4-door Jeep, the rear I think folds down a little flatter than the Forester and is longer. So that I could definitely sleep in comfortably. So plus plus. Let's see. Fun driving. Forester. It's all right. It's just a car. It's just a standard car. I'm gonna leave that neutral. So here, we're gonna do 0 for just neutral. And Miata, fun. That's a plus plus. That's a fun car. I used to have one a long time ago, many years ago. It's a heck of a lot of fun to drive on roads. Jeep. Well, the driving quality on the road is probably pretty bad. I haven't driven one, but that's what I hear. But it might be fun to drive off-road. In fact, it might be a heck of a lot of fun to drive off-road. You can drive on beaches and stuff. I'm gonna give that a plus plus. Even though I haven't done that, but I'm just imagining the places I could go with those big tires and the really good drivetrain that you can get locking differentials. Locking differentials mean that the wheels keep turning. It doesn't spin with one wheel that's like up in the air or on something loose. All the wheels will spin at the same rate, and it helps you get over obstacles. So you can literally climb up over rocks and stuff. Jeep, that'd be, I think, kind of fun. I mean, some people have a whole YouTube channel devoted to off-roading and rock climbing and going way out into the wilderness with their Jeep. That reminds me of safety. Safety, and I'm going to put spare tire. Safety and spare tire. Well, Forester is safe. It's big. It's a relatively big car. I mean, it's not that big. It's like average car, average SUV, and it's got a spare tire. So I give that a plus plus. Jeep. I think that's also a plus plus. It's got a huge spare tire on the back, and it's a big car. Miata, that's a minus minus. There is no spare tire. It's a tiny car. It's very hard to see on the road, so it's very easy to have someone crash into you. Like when I had the Miata, I had to be very defensive in my driving because people don't see me because the car is very low and small. And I've had people try to merge into me multiple times. And even when I honk the horn is kind of quiet because it's a tiny car. And so you just have to be like super defensive because people, just like a motorcycle, it's like a motorcycle, people don't see you. So that is a minus minus. Not only are you more likely to be in an accident, if you are in an accident, it's a tiny car, probably get hurt way more than the passenger in the other car. And it doesn't have a spare tire, so if I go out into the mountains, it doesn't have the ground clearance, and the tires are really tiny, so they're more prone to punctures and flats. And I don't have a spare to put on. That's a minus minus. Oh, here's another safety thing. Hearing loss. The Miata is very loud because it's so light, and that was the goal. The engineers did not put much sound deadening on the underside of the car, and it's a convertible, so even with the soft top up, there's a lot of wind noise. But on the highway, I found most of the noise was actually road noise, like tire noise and road noise, well, with wind coming up through the floor and the sides. If you drive on a highway for a really long time in the Miata, even with the top up, I think you can probably get permanent hearing loss. So that's a minus for the Miata because my hearing is not the best. I'm 41 now. I did a lot of shooting, and I had a Miata for a while, and my hearing is not that. I have some tinnitus. Like I can hear. I'm not always saying, "Hey, what'd you say?" But I have tinnitus at nighttime. When it's quiet, I can hear this little like ringing. I don't want it to get worse. And Jeep. If Jeep, you can take the roof off, and it can be essentially an open air vehicle. You can take the doors off. That would have the same problem as a Miata, but I wouldn't do that. I would keep all the panels on. But I don't think they have as good sound deadening as a vehicle. Like the Forester, lots of sound insulation. I would give that a plus. Jeep, I would say is neutral because it's got as long as I keep the roof and the doors on, it'll probably be okay. But it's still pretty loud inside, is what I read. I want to take Doobie with me, and so Doobie can't wear earplugs. Like you can wear earplugs. Like if you ride a motorcycle, you wear earplugs underneath your helmet. If you drive a Miata for a long time, you wear earplugs. Like if you're on the highway for a long time, that can mitigate the hearing problem. I guess you could do that for the Jeep too. You don't need to do that for the Forester. But Doobie doesn't have the ability to wear earplugs. I mean, maybe there's a way to put earplugs in dogs, but I'm not going to do that. And so even if I had earplugs, Doobie would be at risk of, Doobie's my dog, for people who are new to this channel. Doobie would not be able to put earplugs in. So that's a big negative for the Miata. Okay, let's see, what else? I would say Doobie Doobie's experience in the short term, because she recently got sick and she's on immunosuppressants, so she's not supposed to really like go like backpacking or hiking or camping for probably 6 to 8 months. And so we gotta really like stick with city trails. And I mean, I think it might be okay to like drive her out somewhere and then just hang out right next to the car and sleep in the car. There's like less exposure to cuts or scrapes or bugs and stuff. So I think car camping might be okay. I'll ask the vet about that. But for car camping, in Forester and Jeep, you can do that. That's a plus for both. But in Miata, you can't. Now, for Doobie's experience, a convertible would be really cool for her because she can smell a lot of things. So that's a plus for the Miata. I guess that kind of cancels out to a 0. Okay, so let's see if there is anything else. So reliability and repairs. Off-roading, camping. Is there anything else? Oh, bicycle. I like to take my mountain e-bike into the mountain trails and ride them on Forest Service roads. That is a heck of a lot of fun. I have so much fun doing that. So we're gonna say bicycle. Well, I'll just say bike. Forester, I can take it in there. Jeep, I can take it in there. Miata, I can't. Well, I mean, there is a funky way you could possibly take an e-bike. The e-bike is very heavy. You could put these suction cups on the panels of the trunk lid. But the e-bike is so heavy, it's like 46 pounds. I think it would probably warp the panels. I've seen people do it with their road bikes, which road bikes can be really light, but I don't think it's a good idea with a heavy e-bike. I think you probably just warp the panels with the strong suction cups. Okay, is there anything else? Anything else to think about? I'm not that big into like customizing vehicles, but who knows? I might get it more into like repairing and learning about cars and repairing stuff on my own. If I got a Miata or Jeep, so that might be kind of cool. I think that covers it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, well. I have to put this on there. We ran out of room at the bottom, so I'm gonna say wife driving. Wife driving. She can drive the Forester. She cannot drive the Miata because it'll be stick shift. But she could drive the Jeep as long as I get it in automatic. And for long road trips, it's helpful to like split up the drive. If I had to drive the whole time in manual, that'd be kind of tiring. Instead of being able to switch. Plus, oh yeah. But you know, I would just say, instead of just saying the wife, I'm gonna just say transmission, because transmission. When I go on really long hikes, I mean, I'm talking like doing like 20, 30 or plus miles over a couple days, my feet are pretty wrecked by the end. Like I did a 60-mile one, and my feet, and one muscle in the front of my leg was pretty wrecked. So driving a manual back home, that would be really tough. It was really nice to have cruise control and an automatic, because my feet hurt a lot, and so I don't have to touch the pedals that much. In fact, I can, like, on the highway, I can just use my fingers to, like, adjust the speed with the cruise control. I could adjust the speed of the cruise control in the Miata, but I'd have to do a lot more work with my feet with the clutch pedals. The clutch pedal and the gas and the brakes and all that stuff. And that would be kind of painful with after a long hike. So that's an important one. Okay, I think we are ready to tally this up. So here we go. Here's the overall list. Okay, we're gonna add these up. Let's see. Forester, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So overall score of 12. Miata, -1, -2, -1, -3, -2, -3, -1, -3, -5, -6. Wow. Holy moly. Sorry, Miata, you got a -6. Jeep, 1, -1, -3, -1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. Jeep. This is a 9. Well, here we have it. The best thing based off of this is either Jeep or Forester. Staying with my Forester kind of edges out the Jeep. Mainly because of cost and reliability and repairs. Those were the only two areas which were negative. And then hearing loss is kind of neutral because it doesn't have as much insulation. But it's really money and reliability of repairs. Now, Miata, I'm surprised this one is so low. It's in the -6. That is definitely way off of the other two. So, I'm sorry, Miata, but you know, that's not on my bucket list anymore. Now that I have time to think about it, I haven't really thought about that bucket list thing. Yeah, it's not. Sorry, Miata, you're not on the bucket list anymore. Too many negatives. Now, I'm just curious what happens if I take money out of the picture, the cost. Because I own the Forester, and a Jeep is very expensive to purchase. I could find a used one maybe. But let's just see what happens if we take money out. So we're gonna take money out. Oh shoot, I should have remembered what I wrote there. Because I could just subtract it from the sum that I already have. But now I gotta do it again. That's okay. Forester, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Interestingly, there's no negatives. Miata, -1, 0, -2, -1, -2, 0, minus 2, minus 4, minus 5. Okay, so it goes to minus 5. Jeep, 1, minus 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. Ah! If I take money out of the this chart, meaning the cost of the vehicle, because I own the Forester right now, but I don't own a Jeep. If I take that out and I just consider all the other factors, the transmission, the reliability, cost of repairs, off-road capabilities, camping, being able to sleep in the car, fun factor driving, safety, off-road, as well as spare tire, and in an accident, hearing loss, Doobie's factors, and her enjoyment of the ride, and ran out of battery on the GoPro. I'm talking about the last few categories. Doobie's characteristics of her being able to smell the air. Her also, she's on immunosuppressant, so we probably have to car camp if we're gonna camp. And also having a bicycle, being able to bring a bicycle somewhere. When I look at all that, but I take money out of the issue, the Jeep has an 11, and the Forester has a 10, and the Miata has a -5. Well, the Miata is really, wow, that's got a lot of downsides. My Forester and my Jeep, and the Jeep, are pretty neck and neck. Okay, so that's good. I've ruled out Miata. Now the question really is Forester and Jeep. Well, let's look at what are the differences there. Transmission, it's about the same. Reliability and repairs. I heard the Jeep is not very reliable and would probably need repairs, and maybe in the shop getting engine stuff done for periods of time. So that's a downside. Although I might be okay and might not have problems. There's a couple different engine types. There's one with the turbo and one that's naturally aspirated, and you would think that the naturally aspirated one would be more reliable, but it actually has a lot of problems, like with cams breaking or something, and the block cracking and stuff. So I'm not sure which one would actually be more reliable. Now a turbo, as soon as you add more parts, it gets more complicated. So adding a turbo to a engine, I question the reliability. And there's a whole bunch of those naturally aspirated 6-cylinders that, even though it has known problems, I probably would be able to get parts for it pretty easily. Well, off-roading would be better in the Jeep because the Forester suspension just really, I mean, it has good traction capability, but it's just not very strong. There's some emergency vehicles going by. Ooh, fire truck. The suspension just is not very beefy. It breaks. It breaks with rough roads. Because I've broken it a couple times. Despite going I'm not going super fast. I'm like taking my time, but like there's a lot of wear on the vehicle. I drive a lot in rough areas, rough roads. So Jeep would be a lot stronger for that. And I could get farther. I could go to even rougher roads with the Jeep. So that's That's a good thing. Camping, maybe slight edge to the Jeep because I could go to places I couldn't go with the Forester. Sleeping in the car, Jeep is slightly bigger. That's a plus. Fun driving. I think it'd be fun to take the Jeep off-roading. That's cool. Safety with spare tires. Well, they both have spare tires. They both have pretty good ground clearance. The Jeep has more capabilities, but it actually might be a downside. I might feel like I want to go to more dangerous places with the Jeep. So I think that kind of evens out. Hearing loss. Well, Forester's really insulated. Jeep may not be so. I'd have to test drive it. I think DB would be good with either of those two. And a bike, they both of them carry bikes. So I think really the things that stand out to me is the Jeep has more off-road capability, possibly a little bit more fun camping, more room to sleep, more fun driving if I can go to off-road places. It might be a little louder in the cabin, but I'll keep all the panels on. The big question is the reliability and repairs. That's if I take money out of the picture. Well, this was really helpful. Here's the chart. Well, time to really think about whether to just stick with the Forester or maybe test drive a Jeep. I think I might go test drive a Jeep. Yeah. I just like to share how I kind of weigh all the positives and negatives of making a decision. This doesn't have to be about cars. It can be about anything. It could be about whether to take the new job or stick with your old job, or if you're applying to two different jobs, which one should you take? And you can make a whole chart like this. It can really be used for anything. I did this when I was trying to decide what job to take after I finished residency. I did this with a couple other things too. Yeah. Well, that's it for this video. Bye.